from sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com, and it is, what day is it? It's Wednesday, May the 20th, 2020. Boy, I was hoping by this time we'd be talking about sports and doing picks and betting games. We do have NASCAR today, and I know Rod is super stoked to give out some picks in that respect. We do have some news from the NHL as well, and it looks like they're ready to drop the puck, light the lamp, and do all kinds of good things on that end as well. So more good news on that part. But, of course, not a ton of news in sports, and maybe that's a good thing. Baseball is actually really talking more seriously about what it's going to take, and it's like it's so weird how it's kind of a representation of the country, that it's kind of a representation of the country, the way things are split, that it's 78% of these Democrats think that the virus is going to spike again, and 20% of Republicans thinks it's only going to flitter out. You guys know I'm neither, and what I see is that we've been open for 3 weeks and we haven't had a new case in a week. So you would think that by this point, things would continue to rise if they were going to. But anyways, we don't have a ton here to talk about. We're going to bring in Rod Zawacki, the king of the birdcage, and we're going to talk some NASCAR right out of the gate with Rod. Rod, good morning. Oh, I'm so bad at bringing up the sound. Good morning.
Good morning.
There you go. I'm not good at bringing up the outside sound. I just always forget. I mute you guys because it's like there's always like this commotion right before the show, and I just tune everybody out and I just get started. Running a little late today. Wow, my microphone is right in the scene. So what? So be it. It doesn't matter. I think it sounds good. So that really is the trade-off on that one today. Wow, it's barely hanging in here. I should fix that. All right, that's better. Anyways, so we got a NASCAR race today. We saw Kevin Harvick pretty much dominate just 2 or 3 days ago. We saw who was running well in that race. I watched the race, so I kind of know that Elliott ran really well. Kyle Busch ran well until he had a loose wheel. We had Kozlowski ran well, right? Was that who it was? So
he had a couple bad pit stops. Otherwise, he would have wrecked a tire, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of we had a lot of guys that were running well, and we had some guys that just caught some bad luck. I think I saw more loose wheels, in that race than I've ever seen before in a NASCAR race. And granted, I'm not rushing to tune in the NASCAR race every week. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to claim I am. So a lot of talk in our Facebook group about the pit position, and I know that that's a big deal because, I know in IndyCar and also in Formula One racing, I don't know if it works the same way in NASCAR, is that it goes by the previous year's point standings. The guys get to pick which pit stall they want. And obviously, if you get to pick what pit stall you want and there's a pecking order to it, obviously, it's like the Kentucky Derby, post position draw, where it's like they draw posts in horse racing and you get to pick your slot. Obviously, something that people care about, though. What do you think here, Rod, about tonight's race? First of all, what time is this, Gem?
They've now changed it. It was going to be at 7:30 Eastern time. It's now changed to 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Why is any reason for the change? Are they expecting some weather?
That's what they're worried about. They're trying to get this race in. They figure the weather's going to roll in later at night. So if they started a little earlier than what they had it scheduled, then they figure they'll get it in.
Yeah, I can't hear Rod very well either. Rod, so on this, the weather thing, NASCAR's never shied away from moving a race, moving up a race, any of those things. These guys, they're not just race car drivers; they're also weathermen. But yeah, we're gonna fix it. We're trying to fix his sound. So anyways, Rod, if you want to just talk a little bit about the race, I'm going to work on your sound while we're doing this. Go ahead.
Okay. This is actually the first time that we're going to have a Wednesday race since 1984, when Richard Petty won his 200th race on July 4th in 1984. So that's many years that they've actually had a weekday race of these races. And starting order in this race, what they're doing is the top 20 that finished on Sunday are now getting inverted. They get flipped. So you finish in the top 20 on Sunday, and now you're in the bottom 20 starting tonight. So all these guys that were way at the top are now going to start way in the back of the field.
And that's why Kyle Busch is one of the favorites here, because he was running. I mean, I think he was going to win the race. I think he was going to win. And basically what happened is he got a loose wheel late in the race. He had to take a pit stop, and he got lapped. And so I think a lot of people are expecting that he's going to run well again. And I'll tell you what, I don't even follow NASCAR, and I can tell you this much: Kyle Busch is really good. You know, he's real good, like real good. We have a question here. Your thoughts on Bowman?
My thoughts on Bowman: I'm going to take Bowman in the top 3. He was the runner-up on Sunday, and he looked really, really good. His car was right there. He looked real good. He could have easily won that race as well. So I'm going to take Bowman in the top 3 at plus 210, and I'm also going to take Bowman to win the race at plus 700.
Well, there you have it. A lot of good vibes here for Bowman. So, how do you think this race shapes up? You know, where's the smart money tonight? Kyle Busch, I mean, minus 125 in a NASCAR race. That's what I saw him at? At least in our Facebook group? I didn't really even check the odds on this thing, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and then and for him in like the top 3, they got him at like minus 200. So you figure he's going to be right there.
Yeah, to me that's an auto fade. You just can't do it. It's like betting.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah,
so for me,
it's like betting a golfer to win.
Best bet of the night. My best bet of the last year is take Denny Hamlin top 5 plus 100.
They put a lot.
19 top. So,
a few years ago on a flight, I was on a flight from Vegas to Chicago. It was back when I lived in Chicago, and sure enough, I sit next to one of the Monster Energy girls. You know, that's one of these races, and you know, she's like 18 years old or something. You know, so we're telling me about like there was the motocross race in Vegas. She was there for the motocross race, and she was telling me like the NASCAR was her big thing, and she loved going to NASCAR. And her guy that she said was going to be like at the time was going to be like the next big thing was Denny Hamlin. And she, I noticed the next year or so he was winning a lot because she said all of the money had gone into the other guy's car on his team, and then all of a sudden, they were going to put the money into his car. So since they've done that, he's clearly shown that he is a driver more than capable of it. So, while you never know who you're going to sit next to on an airplane, sometimes those little tidbits of information can really pay off. Anyways, Rod, who else we like here?
Also taking Keselowski in the top 3 at plus 270. And I'm also going to take Keselowski to win the race at plus 900.
All right, so
those are the 2 guys. I'm riding Bowman and Keselowski tonight.
All right, well, there's our picks for today. I don't see Chris's camera on here, so I got to go back to the Skype and see what the hell's going on here. This is bad.
I don't see Chris.
I don't see Chris. I was going to bring Chris on, and and do the hockey with you and Chris, but I do not see him. So what we'll do is we'll bring Steve Monahan on if Chris makes it back, we will have Chris back with Rod, and we'll talk about what's going on in the NHL. In the meantime, we'll bring in Steve Monahan for some sports news. Rod, we'll see you in just a bit for the sim picks. Hopefully you have the odds and everything because
Yep, I can pull those up if we have to. So,
how about Custer? One more question here on Custer. You like Custer? You think he's going to make a stink?
I don't like Custer at all.
I think it's Little Bighorn for Custer. All right, Rod, no bueno on the Custer. All right, we're going to bring in Steve Monahan. Steve on his phone. We tried to get Steve into the modern ages. We got him a new microphone. He sounded great. Unfortunately, he couldn't hear us. Steve, how's it going?
Going good. I'm happy with the new microphone and got some lighting and making little improvements.
Steve's got a lot of gear on the way. All the guys do. Some backlighting like I have is also I get all the notifications of when they get. So Steve's got the forward lighting working now. He'll have the backlighting with some color. I see Chris has made it back, and as well. So we'll have him in just a second, but. Tom Brady holding informal workouts with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know, man. If you're Bruce Arians, you just tell this guy, you're not the coach, you're just some guy on the team like everybody else. I mean, is Tom Brady, is he just not a team player? Is he just above everybody else? I mean, has he earned that right with his 6 Super Bowls? I mean, I don't understand this.
You tell me Bruce Arians doesn't know that Brady, has got some guys and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, he's probably got Mike Evans and his crew working routes, man. That's what it's about. So it's Tom Brady too. So
I don't know. To me, it's like enough is enough with this. He's a little too into the game.
There's no news. So come on, something as insignificant as Tom Brady going to a field and throwing virals to his new wide receivers. Social distancing, I'm sure they're taking precautions, all that stuff.
So
I think it's more smoke.
So Steve called us from the golf course on Sunday. It sounded like a lawnmower was going in the background, so we had to cut him off because it went through the.
Yeah, but I was going to park and go.
I know we could hear it. We could hear it. So it was like we couldn't hear each other. We could only hear that, and then we also hear the banter in the background. I think it's on. It might be on. It's like. Either it's on or it's not, man. Just take out. I mean, I personally, if the ball's off or on, I just walk up to the green with my putter and I just knock the bastard in the hole, score my 3, and move on to the next one. What exactly did the scorecard read at the end of this round?
Sunday, I tell you that, especially in New Jersey.
I need to know how many digits were on that scorecard at the end of the round. We need a tally.
Oh, for me?
Yes, not in cloud, and we're not giving.
I shot a 106.
106. How many breakfast balls?
Many.
Few ham and eggers out there.
See, my problem is I only get out 2-3 times a year typically, so I'm in that no man's land where I just can't improve myself.
I get out, as opposed to me, I get out 2 to 3 times a day. I played twice yesterday.
Right.
I came home, ate breakfast, went back, and played another 18 in the windstorm.
But absolutely nothing wrong with being out on a nice Sunday morning. We each had individual cards, and it was just a good day.
If you're shooting 106 if you're shooting 106 in front of me, you're probably hating life.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of balls for making them.
I hit a pretty firm 3-wood these days.
But I'll crush you in any other individual sport, I can tell you.
Well, that's okay. I can play some pretty good ping pong, so we'll have to see how that goes. And tennis. But golf, tennis, I mean, maybe one-on-one basketball. But
not even a.
Yeah, I don't play, but that's okay.
Ask Joe Boston University.
But 50 years old. Golf is the game. Anyways, we just got to see the scorecard. We just got to see the scorecard. We got to go over. So
I don't have it
106,
on
106
me.
is a lot of room for improvement, and of course, I know some great,
Okay.
I know some great living room drills that I'll tell you what knocked my handicap down. Many strokes, just stuff that I did over the COVID break that
Of
took
the
my
three
scores.
aspects, I pitched. My short game was actually pretty good.
Well, you probably had a
Wedge.
lot with 106. You're
Anything
gonna have
was
a lot of
really
practice.
from one. Yeah, but I could make a putt all day, and it took me a while to start hitting straight off the tee.
Yeah, I'd say 90% of bad golfers all make the same mistakes. So
Yeah.
there's two big ones. One is they take the club way far back like this. They bend their elbows and stuff. Well, the better golfers, it's just straight to parallel here,
Yep.
with like this. But the bad golfers are like this, and it's like so all your weight's going in different positions, like you're hitting a baseball. Your weight and your body are moving all over the place, and also they flip their wrist. If you're knocking on a door, like if you're trying to knock down a door, you wouldn't do it like this. You would do it like this. It's like that's the difference between a good golfer and a bad golfer. 90% of the time, those two things. Also,
I'll take any living room drills I can get.
anyways, we can talk about those another time. In the meantime, not a lot going on in the world of sports, but I do love that the players are saying if there's not a season, they're going to blame us. Yes, we will. We absolutely will. So, yes, as long as they understand that and they got that straight, I'm good.
We're good.
We're all good. Anyways, I'm going to bring the pugs back, and Steve, we'll see you in just a second for sim pick section of the show, but I'll bring Rod and Chris back. I want to ask them a couple quick questions. First, we'll bring Chris, the invisible man. Chris, nice to see you. You joined us back again today.
Yeah, I decided to disappear in a fat air. But
You sound a lot better than you did on yesterday's show. What part of it was on my end, part of it was on Chris's end, but I think his sound quality way better. Rod was just here for the NASCAR picks, but I want to ask you guys, the NHL is just like basically saying, we're going. We're going to figure this out by Friday. We're going to tell you guys what we're going to do. We're not sure what that is. But I'll tell you what, we're sick of sitting around. We're sick of talking about maybe coming back. We're coming back. We're going to announce it Friday. And whatever we land on, we're just going to land on. We're going to play. And you know what? Everyone always makes the playoffs anyway. So we're really going to make it so everybody makes the playoffs. What do you guys think about what these proposals and, what you've heard? I know, Chris, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I think the Alberta Premier's been probably watching our show, and he said Edmonton's the safest place in the continent to host the NHL. He's listening to Rod a little bit, but I also think that there's going to be a few hub cities that are going to be considered. I know we were talking about the show maybe about Vegas with all the hotel accommodations, but someone like Matt Duchene coming out and saying, "Oh, I hope for a regular playoff format because nobody wants to win the COVID Cup." It's just like, I just want to get back to some hockey. I think change playoff format or not, I think, we still played the majority of a season. It's not like we played a 40 or 50 game season. We played almost 70 games. This 2014 format eliminates the question marks of, oh, well, what if they got in and, cut them off, but they still had a chance to get into the playoffs.
What's the first round going to look like? Like, is it one and done? Is that what they're saying?
I would think it would be best of 3.
Rod, what are you thinking here?
Those numbers we haven't heard any set of what the plan is for first rounds or the playoffs formats yet. We got a really good idea where the main hub's going to be, and I think it's going to be in Vegas. It's because
how do you like that they haven't even mentioned Calgary as a possibility in all of this? How do you feel about that?
Love it. You can't have it in Calgary. No way.
You can let us know. It's okay. I think it's great that the NHL is saying that we're just going to do it. It's like we don't know what we're going to do, but we are going to do it, and we're going to announce it Friday, and we're going to have it figured out. We're just going to say, instead of all this back and forth, all this round and round, all this other stuff, We're going to do it, and we're going to announce it Friday. And whatever we land on Friday, that's where we're going to be. So obviously they're really close.
Might be announced earlier than that. Might be announced as early as tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what UPS says when they're delivering my packages, so I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, true story. I ordered, so last year I got really roasted on my arms in the summer months. So I've been playing with long sleeves, even in Hawaii, even in the sun this year. So I've been wearing a lot of those zip pullovers is what I wear. I just throw it on over my T-shirt, and I just play. I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside. I wear long sleeve. So I order from this place online, because you can't get anything here really. And they send my package to Mexico. It's like you get the notice from UPS, your package, or your FedEx, your package will be delivered tomorrow. And I get the thing, your package has been delivered. Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico is where they delivered my package. It was, and then these days everyone's got the excuse for the bad customer service, right? It's like they got the built-in excuse for it. So it's like you guys have heard some of my customer service calls on the show, and this one was a real gem. I eventually did get them, and I've got to say, I don't know, don't absolutely love those ones, but I have to think. I'll tell you who does a nice job with their golf gear. Not a brand that I normally wear their stuff is Under Armour. They really do. I love their golf shirts and pullovers. So just a real nice fit. I like form fitting, for that shit. Anyways, speaking of form fitting, we'll bring Steve Monahan back on. We'll do some sim pick. Steve, welcome back.
Love Under Armour shirts.
Yeah. So it's like I was always a Nike guy, and I always have Adidas, but it's like for some reason that Under Armour stuff just fits great. It's like I'm not like washboard jock guy, but also at the same time I'm not like really big either. But the Under Armour they kind of give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not having that you could wear something, but it's like it's not like this box fit like some of the other guys. So that's just for me. I think they do a nice job for me. Of course, everyone has their own preference. I don't really care. But anyways. How did we do yesterday in our simulated game picks? I know Rod won on hockey. I'm not even going to ask. Did you win, Rod?
Yeah. It was like, what, 5-1?
Automatic.
5-1 count?
Yeah.
Undefeated.
And we're going to see if he keeps it up today.
How did we do on our NFL picks?
Yesterday, Carolina covered.
One for me. I got one.
They won outright. Atlanta won outright.
Got that one.
The Raiders beat the Chargers outright, and Kansas City covered against Denver.
All right, 3-1, a rare 3-1 day for me.
3-1.
2-2.
It's if I have all those 2-2 days like I've had, it's like you get that 3-1. It's like it doesn't take too many of those to get you over the Mendoza line here. All right, so what do we got going for today's action? I saw. It's like I look at the site every night, and so I see all the different games. So there's just to remind everybody, there's each of the different sports betting sites has different sim games associated with it. So the ones that Chris goes over are the Bovada games, and we have these also listed at Sports Chat Place, and we have a link where you can bet these games if that's what you feel if you must. And I would definitely put these in the if you must category. And then on the other ones, on the other picks that Randy does on the site, those are the Bet Online games. And there's a link to where you can bet those as well. And he also does NBA on there as well. Chris? This has been a rough show. It took us 20 minutes to get on the air. We couldn't hear Steve. Then we lost Chris, and then we couldn't hear Rod. So this is why we can. People are like, we really appreciate the show going on, but this is all. This is why we do it, because it's like we had nothing to talk about. basically talked about Steve's golf game. He criticized my play in every other sport outside of golf, which is okay. I'm old enough that I can just be good at golf at this point in my life. And surfing is the other individual sport I'll paste you in. And
Oh, yeah. I can't even
I mean
stand up.
that would be you if you think the 72 to 106 beatdown in golf would be bad. We'll take you.
I'm
We'll
not
take you.
a
We'll
fat
take.
man
We'll
on
take.
the
We'll,
surfboard, man.
we'll take you over to Thousand Peaks on when a south swell comes in, and see how you do when the 8-footer comes rolling over the top. It's like
I'd get crushed.
it'd be like the Ted Danson in that Tales from the Crypt. See how long you can hold your breath. I guess Laird Hamilton can hold his breath for like minutes. You know, like those really big wave surfers can hold their breath for like incredible amounts of time. Anyways, it's definitely one skill you need to have if you surf in any kind of size. You need to be able to hold your breath, man, because it's like sometimes you're down there, you get spun around, man. It's like you don't even know which direction is up. Anyways, speaking of which direction is up, Chris, who's on the gridiron today? I love simulated sports.
12 Eastern, Steelers -4 against the Texans.
Steelers -4 against the Texans.
I'll take the Texans +4.
I got Texans +4.
I'll take Texans money line.
Take the Steelers. 3 Eastern, Ravens -6.5 against the Colts.
So the Colts money line here.
Brissett starts, right? Because
Yeah.
Luck is retired in this one.
Yeah. I'll go Ravens.
I'll go Ravens.
7 Eastern, Seahawks -3.5 against the Eagles.
I'm gonna take the Eagles money line.
I'll take the Seahawks.
Eagles.
By the way, on the asterisk here, I think on the individual sports I could probably hold my own against Steve Monahan, but in the team sports I have no prayer. Steve is way better football player than I am. Way better baseball player than I am. Way better basketball player than I am. But golf, tennis, ping pong, I think I do okay. Surfing, croquet, badminton.
It's all about fun.
Yeah.
It's not about the company.
Yeah, I think, we've had some heated wiffle ball contests in the past.
Oh, yes, we have.
How many wiffle balls can you put on your neighbor's roof?
That's right. Hit this riser.
We had the Nerf basketball hoop, the $8 toy that did $28,000 worth of damage. Like, dunking over the top. We're doing 5-on-5 Nerf games, you know.
Well, they put a hole in the wall the size of a human body.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
We put a hole in a wall the size of a human body, except we weren't playing basketball. We played the who can jump on the moving treadmill game.
The night
You put it on as fast as the treadmill can go, and then you stand on the edge, and then what you do is it speeds up, and then you got to jump on it and get up to speed. And if you get up to speed, you win the pot. Nobody ever got the pot.
The worst.
The pot always paid for the damage.
The worst night of Steve's landlord's life was the night that Michael Jordan won that slam dunk contest against Dominique Wilkins when he took off from the foul line and did it, because we were watching it at Steve's house, and then we had to emulate the dunk with the Nerf hoop. The problem is that the Nerf hoop was up against the wall. It wasn't in a doorway. So, like, your momentum carried you through the wall. And, let's just say we're all sticking our tongue out doing the double pump and everything. It's like,
Right?
oh man, I remember that.
Tens up there, nines,
I
whatever.
seriously remember I seriously remember watching that with you and the guys the night when Jordan took off from the foul line. It was just like, forget it. It's like,
Yep.
it was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen in basketball. Anyway, speaking about unbelievable,
Some alcohol involved with that too.
and some other extracurriculars. Chris, let's let's get to the last sim game of the night. Man, I can't wait until the day comes when we can't talk about these sim games anymore. What do we got?
10 Eastern, last football game. 49ers -2.5 against the Cowboys.
49ers minus 2.5.
49ers money line.
I'll take the Niners money line.
I'll take the
I'll
Niners.
take the Niners.
All right. So that
And there's a hockey game too.
Rod, give out the winner. No pressure.
We got the Islanders at the Rangers. Give me the Rangers at home here.
All
More
day.
guys on the Rangers that are higher rated than the Islanders. I'm also going to take a shot here with the over 7.5. I've seen these Battle of New York go over quite a bit.
Is there fans in the stands for these games, or are they played under the COVID rules of no fans in the stands for these?
No, they
games?
got fans like they do in the Tokyo baseball, them blow up dolls.
Do they do the beat your wife
Blow up
potvin
dolls at the
chant?
stands there.
Do they do the beat your wife potvin chant at the Ranger Islander games at Madison Square Garden? That'd be the best. I know, like my old Sega Genesis that I had, the last time I ever played video games, which is, I mean, that tells you how long ago it was. They used to play the Hartford Whaler song on there. Dun, 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 dun.
It was a Sega Genesis that they had 93 hockey that had the move. There was a cheat move. You just kind of moved the guy to the left, and the goalie would be like, whoop, and it just went back the other way. And
It had fighting.
It did have fighting. Huh?
It had fighting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days, man. Back when
Little
you get,
cartoon fighters fighting, because
Back-
it wasn't actually like they are today.
what damage could my old cap guns be doing now? Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Tomorrow we'll discuss sim games and lawn darts. So I think the thing was called Pitch Away that Steve and I were talking about yesterday. It might have been called, or Bat Away. Was it Bat Away? Pitch Away?
There's a couple.
Pitch back.
out
Pitch
there.
back.
Pitch back. I'll go with pitch back.
I'll tell you, just, the second someone stuck a bottle in that thing, and it happened probably in my neighborhood, is the day that toy line went right down the thing. It's like I could name 10 toys that we played with as kids that they probably don't have now. I have no idea what toys they do and don't have, but I can name 10 that they wouldn't have now. The wrist rocket was one. Like, we were wrist rocket and BB gun people, My mother hated the BB gun. She hated the BB gun. I'm taking away that BB gun. It's like, left it at Joe's house. Sorry. I'd love to let you take it from me, but I left it over. It's at Mike's house. I'm calling his father. He's not home. You go over there and get that. I went. No one was there. Don't shoot out 2 windows on your way home either. All right. We're deteriorating. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks everyone for joining us, and hopefully we have some sports soon. I know. When does Bundesliga get back in action?
There's one game Friday, and then there's a full slate Saturday.
All right, so maybe I'll do a spread knowledge pick on the show as well. Have a great day, everyone.